welcome the legendary filmmaker Vidhu Vinod Chopra, sir. Sir, it's such an honor to have you here. जैसे कुछ एक कमरा होता है, कमरा घर बनता है लोगों की इसमें वजह से। सर इसी तरह ये फिल्म फेस्टिवल में आपने जान फूंक दिया सर। थैंक यू सो मच।
थैंक यू।
जितना मैं इनके बारे में कहूँगा कम ही होगा, मैं सिर्फ कहने के लिए नहीं बोल रहा हूँ ये वाकई में। So sir, I would really like to know that how do you manage to stay so calm, cool?
I'm calm and cool because of Ladakh, because of lack of oxygen. I'm not like that. It's Ladakh that makes me calm. And when I look at the mountains and the monastery and the landscape, and I feel so small, because these mountains are there forever, and we are so small, and my own mortality, I become even more aware of my mortality, and which is great. I feel closer to God. I really do. Ladakh and also Bhutan, I feel the same. I feel I am closer to the gods, to the heavens, and that makes me feel very calm. And also, most of us. Actually, I don't know decent English, so let me say, screw up our priorities. Because we forget our priorities. So when you come to Ladakh and when you look at these monasteries and those, mountains, it just tells you that your priority really is to yourself and to your mind and to your inner self, so to say. And I think in Bombay I'm not now.
So, I would like to think it otherwise, sir.
You asked my crew.
You're wonderful in all your interviews, and I suppose that is what you are, sir.
I think what happens when I'm making a movie, particularly, the last film I made, Shikara, which you guys must see, it's one of my better films, I think. I was very calm, because I was filming in Kashmir, and it dealt with the Pandit Exodus, which was a very violent event. So that made me very calm. But, I get very angry when I see mediocrity. And I'm not calm at all. When I see incompetence, it makes me very angry. And I'm not calm. And my wife was sitting there, who's here to make sure I don't say things that I'm not supposed to say. Would agree that I abuse and I cannot accept. See, two things I cannot accept, and I don't think anybody should accept. Particularly all of you filmmakers. Don't accept mediocrity. Most important, not in others, in yourself. What happens, you're young now, you get people coming, now tomorrow let's say some Hindi movie star, some big star comes and tells you, I want to be in your movie. And it makes you feel, yes, I will do this. But if you're not making the movie that you really want to make, before you know, you would have accepted mediocrity within yourself for some other goals that are actually not satisfying at all. Success, unless it comes with knowledge that you have been honest to yourself, that you have not cheated yourself, success without that is useless. I have seen many successful people who are not as happy as they should be. Because success finally means nothing. And what is success, frankly? Is it you, what you think of yourself, and your opinion of yourself, or your opinion as from the point of view of others? And today, this is for all of you actually, and also for most filmmakers. We have started judging ourselves by the likes we get on Twitter, on Insta, on whatever. I'm on none of the platforms. But you judge yourself, oh, I got 5,000 likes. I got 20,000 dislikes, so I'm useless. But if I got 25,000 likes, I'm good. But what about you? Do you like your film or what you're doing? Do you dislike it? And for me, that one like or dislike is equal to 1 million, maybe 10 million, maybe 100 million likes or dislikes on the internet. It means nothing to me. But we start judging ourselves by that. I'm sure all of you who are on Instagram and whatever feel that way. Oh, this picture I got 500 likes. But do you like it? To me, that is the most important question. Sorry, I went somewhere else.
Absolutely, sir. It makes a lot of sense, sir. It is the virtual world can really engulf your life and create a fake persona, which is very dangerous. Yes, sir.
Sir, I wanted to go like in the first opening when the Himalayan Film Festival was opening. Our Excellencies, Lieutenant Governor R.T. Mathur, got it. Then why, when you were speaking, that sir saying, the like 500 or 5,000, and His Excellency says, when in China, minister, if Chinese minister wanted to visit India, his son told to his father, before you go, go to India, watch the 388. So I was just goosebumps. Then I was just living in the 3 o'clock in the night. Sir, how I meet Sarah? So today I am here to asking this question. What is your view on that, sir?
See, when you touch people's lives through your cinema, when people want to become more like Rancho and less like Chatur, you have succeeded. But also, let's say in a film like Shikara, which is seen by 100 people compared to 3 Idiots, it's a film that deals with Todo Nahi Jodo. That's the whole premise of the film. And it talks about how we need to integrate our country and ourselves rather than disintegrate it. You see that film also. That's a very different film. But for me, the most important thing is, have I succeeded in what was I saying in 3 Idiots? One simple thing, chase excellence, success will follow. Kabil bano, kamyabi tumhare kadam chumegi. He mentioned your film. Padma has already mentioned your film to me. She said to me the last day, that film is very nice. I've already requested for a link. So if you chase excellence in your life, success is bound to come. You read my book. I come from very humble beginnings. My father was like an assistant manager in an insurance company. He was like an agent, insurance agent. I didn't go to English medium schools. Even now when my wife or my daughter who's at Stanford speaks English with me, I don't understand. I have to ask Anu, I said, what did she say? Because I'm not good. My whole education was Hindi Urdu in DAV school in Kashmir and in SP college in Kashmir. And then when I went to the Film Institute, I did not know that there was a guy called Jean-Luc Godard or Truffaut or Orson Welles or anybody. I had no knowledge, zero. But look at the journey. For you people, the great thing is you can see cinema now on your phone. You can see cinema anywhere. You want to see Breathless of Godard today, I'm sure you can get some movie site and see it. So as students of cinema, you're far more privileged than I was 50, 60 years back. I'm 69 now, so I was 50, 55 years back I'm talking about. Think about it. I had no money to go and see movies, so there was a gentleman called Vijay Dhar who owned Broadway Cinema, who I used to go and wait. And if the show was not full, he gave me. That is how I saw cinema. When I wanted to go to the Film Institute, my father did not have money to send me. I fortunately topped the university. I became a National Scholar of India. I got $250 from Government of India. With that money, I went to the Film Institute. And my brother, who just got a job, he was 2 years older to me. And unfortunately, he died 2 months back because of COVID. That's why I take extra precaution. But he paid for my food. In the institute, I used to have 2 bananas. Funchuk Ladakhi, if he's somewhere here, he will tell you. So that's my journey. But I did never, ever do something that I didn't want to do. And let me tell you something, I'm going to say this to you not as bragging, because that's the last thing I want to do, to sit here and my wife will kill me at home. But I want to inspire you by saying that after Parinda, they came to me for an ad film. It was Pepsi was launching in India, and I didn't want to make ad films. But they showed me Pepsi ad films, and they were excellent cinema. I said, I'll do it. So then there was a gentleman called, there were 2-3 people here now. There was a guy called David Engler, he came from America. There was Alex Kuruvilla, who is now heading some publishing house, but 4 or 5 people. So they came and met me and they gave me a script. And that script was terrible. It was an ad film script. And I told him, but this script is not good. And I had no office. I had one room without bathroom where I used to sit. And he says, I said, but this is not good. He said, no, but this is what we have to do. I said, I can't do this. And that American said, Mr. Chopra, if you do it, why not? Instead of why not? Money is not an issue. We have budgets. I said, very good. Well, let's shake hands. Why didn't you do it before? So he didn't know what to do. I shook hands. So I said, now you want to know my charge? He said, yes. I said, it'll be 1 crore. That time 1 crore was like 100 crores now. I said, 1 crore. He said, oh, 1 crore? I said, that's per day. So how many days do you need me? So everybody started laughing, including me. I said, I'm not for sale. So I made one Pepsi film, which became like huge. After that, I never did another ad film. Because I made much more money in Pepsi than in Parinda. The reason I didn't do it is not because I am a strong guy. No. Because I'm a weak man. Because if I do more ad films, I would never do feature films. Or if I do that, I'd be compromised. Because so much money. I made 80 lakhs in Pepsi ad film. I made 12 lakhs in Parinda. I remember that clearly. So you have to, choices will come your way. They will come your way. And there'll be difficult choices. All I'm saying to you, to other filmmakers, and by the way, Padma, this is the first master class I'm ever doing. I've never done it. I've never done it. And I've come home for this class, and I want you to know that never, don't ever sell your soul. It's not a happy place to be.
सर नमस्कार जुले सर मैं लद्दाख से एक छोटा सा फिल्म मेकर हूँ सर रीजनल फिल्म बनाता हूँ सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है सर आपसे कि सर आपका प्रोडक्शन हाउस क्या हम लोकल फिल्म मेकर्स को ये रीजनल फिल्म्स को प्रोड्यूस कर सकते हैं सर हमें कुछ चांस मिल सकते हैं बॉलीवुड में कैसे मिलेगी सर कुछ
मैंने ऑलरेडी पद्मा जी से कल बोला था मैं आपको भी बोलता हूँ अगर आप कोई स्क्रिप्ट लिखें लद्दाख में और वो स्क्रिप्ट जैसा 3 इडियट्स में मैं कहता हूँ एक्सीलेंट हो तो आपको मेरी जरूरत भी नहीं पड़ेगी लेकिन मैं वहां होऊंगा आई एम हियर फॉर दैट आई वुड लाइक यू गाइस through Padma, who is a wonderful person I met here. If you have script ideas, you have scripts, send it to my company. If there's anything from here that I can support, I already told her yesterday, and this, I hope this goes out also to people in Kashmir. So in Ladakh or Kashmir, where I come from, if there are kids who want to make movies, and Padma make sure that kids in Kashmir also get to know this, that what I'm saying here is write scripts, tell your stories. See, हम पहाड़ी लोग हैं ना, हम बहुत अलग हैं बाकी लोगों से. There's a huge amount of honesty in us because of the mountains that we've grown up in. We are truly far more honest than people in the thing. I genuinely believe that. I find it very difficult to stay in New York for long times. Just because I feel very almost threatened, because I feel that am I too honest to be here? Am I too decent to be here? Not decent is not the word. Decent is the wrong word, but honest is the right word. So we have to tell our stories. But those stories have to be very good to be told. If any day, do you know how Munna Bhai MBBS was made? Let me tell you, Raju Irani was my editor. He had this story, and I thought it was a great idea to talk about compassion in medical profession. I sat with him and we wrote the film. The day the film released, Munna Bhai MBBS, and this is maybe you guys don't know, nobody went to see the film. On Friday, and the joke is that one of the friends of Sanjay Dutt, he owned a small cinema hall in Pune. He came and told Raju in front of me, कि यार record तोड़ दिया तेरी picture ने. And Raju was so happy. And he said, 3 लोग आए, पूरे 3 people. This is a record. So, this was Friday morning. That kid was almost in tears. We had lost a lot of money in that film. So I gave him 11,000 and I said, here, he said, I can't take money from you. I said, this is not for Munna Bhai MBBS. Ye to flop away. Because what do you mean to see? You make one. This is for your next film. Because we still have money in the bank. Then by the evening, people went to see more. By Sunday, it was a different story. You know, now we're talking about Lagero Munna Bhai. Lagero Munna Bhai was not released by a certain cinema chain because I didn't agree with their policy of giving more money to bigger films and less money to smaller films. So they said, we won't release your film. I said, thank you very much. Lagero Munna Bhai did not release in one of the biggest cinema chains of India. I won't name them because my wife will kill me. But you can find out. On Friday, it didn't release. On Saturday, the Chief Minister of Delhi calls me, Sheila Dixit. She doesn't know me at all. She finds me and she praises and she said, why it's not releasing in every theatre? I said, because these guys want to exploit me. And I won't get exploited. And believe me, I was not rich. I was like dying. I was be dead because the chain is not releasing my film. On Saturday, she told those guys, Sunday those guys flew in. I was asking them for the same ratio as other filmmakers, which is 52%. For big films, they were giving me 45%. I won't take it. First week, you go. That guy came and I said, I'll give you 75%, but give me the film on Sunday. I said, no, I want 52%. And that is how Lagero Munna Bhai released, on Sunday. Why it became what it became? Because we were constantly following excellence. 3 Idiots, and that's a story in the book. When 3 Idiots released, Abhijit Joshi calls me, Padma from Ahmedabad. Sir, apni picture बहुत बड़ी hit हो गई. कहता सर लिखते टाइम तो सोचा ही नहीं. तो I said, जिस दिन तू लिखते टाइम सोचेगा ना, उस दिन हमको पिक्चर बनाना छोड़ देना चाहिए. So nothing can come in your way, my friend, if your work is excellent. And this guy sitting here is an example of what I mean, just go through my life. So don't ever think that you need me. I will need you. You become that way.
So at the same time, when nobody showed up for the Friday show of Munna Bhai MBBS, you gave money to Raju Irani and said, write the next one. What did you think? What did you think?
Very simple. I thought we had made an excellent film. I thought that we had made an excellent film. I genuinely believe that. Shikara, if you see, and why I keep saying Shikara is on Amazon, it released on Friday to some 9.1 rating on IMDb. Certain sections of political people did not like the message of the film. And it was completely sabotaged, hugely sabotaged. I mean, crazily sabotaged. But I'm so proud of that film. It's one of my best films. And today that film, somebody sent me a thing from Canada 2 days back. It was one of the top films in Netflix in Canada. You can't stop good work. You just cannot stop it. There's no way to stop.
It's so encouraging, sir.
No, but it's simple. I'm sitting here in front of you telling you this. And when you talk of Lagero Munabai, I'm telling you it didn't even release in cinemas. And today I think Lagero is definitely one of my best films. When I heard her speaking of Gandhigiri before I came on stage.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's a very popular phrase.
But I'm taking you back. Parinda people talk of, somebody mentioned Parinda today. Parinda, when it released, it flopped. Nobody's talking about it flopped. It ran for 2 weeks. 1 week in Alankar in Bombay. But then, today it's a cult film.
So talking of Parinda, what I remember
Can I
was...
just say one thing before I lose track? One of the things that has always inspired me is the life of the Dutch painter Van Gogh. He did not sell a single painting in his lifetime. Today, it's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So was he wrong or were the people stupid? Ask yourselves. So when as an artist, when you're chasing something, when you're making starry nights, you're making a great painting, you're making a great film. It doesn't matter if the human race at that given moment, in that time frame, says wow or not wow. Because they are conditioned. Now today, our country has certain conditioning. So a certain kind of film will say, wow, this is something. But will it, 100 years from now, 50 years from now, will it stand the test of time? I don't know. But will your cinema stand test of time or not? Only you can tell. Like your film that I'm really looking forward to see. It will stay. It will transcend time.
That was so encouraging, sir. Once again, sir.
Good evening, sir. Thank you so very much for everything that you have made, entertained us, taught us, and we are so inspired, still getting inspired. So my question is, personally for you, what is the purpose of cinema in today's world? What is cinema?
Very simple. To get your point of view across and to, through that point of view, change people's perspective. How, in 3 Idiots, my own daughter came to me and said, I don't want to do this, I want to dance. I said, please dance. You know how many lives 3 Idiots has changed, including in my own family, because people went to their father and parents and said, I want to be a photographer like Farhan, I want to be something else. How many lives we must have touched? That to me is the purpose of cinema. So that your point of view is heard. I'm again referring to Shikara. I'm from Kashmir. My house was looted. I was thrown out of Kashmir. My mother she came for Parinda premiere. She could never go back to India. Never. To Kashmir, sorry. And so we were thrown out. But do I have hate? Do I have anger? Do I have resentment? No. How can... You see the film again. So it's my point of view. Even if I influence, even if let's say 100 people after seeing Shikara in Kashmir change their point of view from violence to brotherhood, I've succeeded. 1% forget 100%.
So your encounter with Faces, which was nominated for Oscars, I saw it on YouTube, and one thing, it's a beautiful film, no doubt. What really kept me thinking was, you're so young, you were in your early 20s. How did you think about it?
Now this is very interesting you ask me this. I had no money. So when I came to Bombay, I made a little list. Renu Saluja, then my girlfriend, and then I married her. She was my first wife. We made a list. It's in the book. So it said, what will I do in Bombay? I didn't know what to do. Can I have the book? I think that I'll remember then. There's a list there. Or let me just, I'll tell you from memory. First thing was Amitabh Bachchan on the list. Okay, आप मैं memory से बोलता हूँ. आप इसमें निकालिए, आप देखिए वो आप list. If I'm wrong, you correct me. You're the future. I'm done. You correct me. So what happened was Amitabh Bachchan. First, last thing in that list. है list है ना?
जी हाँ.
Last thing in the list was FD. FD is Films Division. Okay. So I went to Amitabh Bachchan, I went to, everybody said, no, wait. Finally, I had nothing, no money to eat, nothing, zero. So I went to Films Division, said, I'm National Award winner, I'd only won the National Award. So they gave me one film, and they said, yes, 5,000 rupees. I didn't even ask them what the film is about. I said, how much? 5,000. They said, how much we'll get now? I said, 1,200 now, 1,200 then. I said, okay, I'll do it. So that was the inspiration. But the point is, I did it just to survive in Bombay. And I still remember their topic was destitute and delinquent children of India and their rehabilitation. You know how Padma they write in formal language, this is rehabilitation of young kids. So I didn't know how to do that. And that was a challenge. So what I did was, I remembered again, the Truffaut book had some close-ups. So when I saw those close-ups, I said faces. And the first thing that struck me was encounter with faces. And then I made that film primarily with just faces. And I shot it myself in black and white. And of course it got nominated for an Oscar. That again is a very interesting story you can read. But the point is, I just did it because I had no money. It's like one of you guys has no money and has to do a film for no money, just to make money. But even then, make the best film you can. Don't say I got 5,000 rupees, I'll make some shit. Don't do that. And FD at that time made reasonably mediocre films. This was very, very different from what they'd done. Very different. I'll tell you something again crazy, and Padma will understand this. There was a head of the films division that time, did not understand that film at all. And he told me, what have you done? Rubbish. There's no commentary, no background music. That was the official recognition of that film. But once the Oscar came in, then of course it became different. So just don't compromise. Do it for money if you have to, but make a great film, or make the best you can.
We can watch it on YouTube, please. It's a very beautiful film, Encounter with Faces.
Another, sir, like if I'm not going too personal, when I'm trying to do research on you, I need to rebirth again. But sir, like the money is, when I'm going through your all interviews, this definitely, sir, like you didn't do after 1 or 2 acts, then you doing all these great movies. Isn't it, sir, like money is not important, but sometimes people like me, people like all the filmmakers like us, you have a beautiful family, sir. Your brother, your sister, your wife, and when I look at your family, even though you are such a legendary director, writer, all the world globe knows you are a producer. I don't want to lose my family also, sir. I have a little family also. Sometimes I'm too much in the movie, then sir, I'm not giving enough time for my family. How you manage those, sir? Because also this is maybe so many young, talented, want to do something. How we go in that way, sir? Yeah.
See, there's a thing written, if you come to my office, there are 3 words written there. First word is health. To me, your most important commitment to yourself is your health. That's number 1. Why do I wear a mask? Why did I, in a picture with all people here, with the minister, everybody is non-masked, me and my wife are wearing masks. Why? Because that picture will go up. Many people will see that picture. And what will they think if everybody is non-masked? They'll say, we don't need a mask. put that mask to save myself and also send a message to whoever wants to see that picture. Please wear a mask. So your first commitment is health. Your second commitment, it says clearly, is your family. Family comes before it, after health. And your third commitment is cinema. To me, my family comes before my cinema. Clearly, there is no conflict. And my health comes before my family. Because if I'm not healthy, I cannot look after my family. And if I don't have family, my cinema is useless. So your first commitment, my friend, is to your family. But there's a balance that you find. You have to find that balance. But let's say if there's a direct conflict between cinema and family, clearly family. No confusion.
Like when we see the PKs, that character is completely, he's an alien coming on the earth and he touched something, it's like completely different. That how it comes, this all contents, like because like last 2-3 decades when we see, it is a crisis of content. Like everybody was making same thing, but when we see all your movies, it's completely okay. After Munnabai, 3 days is completely different, and then PK is completely different. But this is how you choose the subjects.
See, PK and particularly PK was mostly Raju Hirani's idea with Abhijat Joshi. And in the concept, I am number third. It's Abhijat and Raju who created the character. Then my job really is to criticize and say, this is rubbish, this works, this doesn't work. And all our characters, whether it is Parinda, whether it is Shikara, whether it is PK, whether it comes from our belief. What is our belief? When PK is running around saying, what is God? Who is my God? Hey Bhagwan, tu hai chupat kahan hai tu? The concept is very, very clear to me. That is my concept. That there is one God. And for me, when I sit in my tent and look at that monastery, I see the God. In the mountains, I see the God. When I go to the great churches of Italy and those cathedrals, I can feel the presence of God. I feel it in Hazratbal when I go there. Whenever I go by Hazratbal, I feel the presence of God. I believe there is one God. I believe when I go to monasteries in Bhutan or here and then chanting those, it's amazing. It just makes you feel, oh my God, we are next to the gods. But I believe there's just one God. I don't think there are too many of gods fighting there among themselves. I mean, the idea is absurd. So that was the idea of PK. It came from that. Think about it conceptually, how absurd it is. If I sit here and you say, oh, my God doesn't like your God, and that person's God is fighting with that God, and that is why we also need to kill each other because our gods are hating each other. Look at doesn't it sound stupid? I mean, to me it sounds stupid. That is why PK. PK was my answer to this. I cannot, see, I'm not an activist, I'm an artist. I have to say what I have to say through my cinema. What does PK say? Basically, what is he saying? Ask yourself. It's very simple. There is one God.
सर आपने बहुत सारे सुपर हिट्स फिल्म दिए हैं सर. मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है सर, आप अपनी फिल्म में स्क्रिप्ट को कैसे सेलेक्ट करते हैं, कैसे देखते हैं सर? और सर फिल्म में कहते हैं सर कि 4 पिलर होता है. एक सर स्क्रिप्ट, एक एक्टर सर, एक डायरेक्टर और एक शायद मेरे ख्याल से कैमरा सर. तो सर ये चारों बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट होते हैं सर कि कुछ रिलैक्सेशन भी इसमें.
देखिए, मैं ये 4 पिलर किसने बोला है मुझे मालूम नहीं है. लेकिन सबसे बड़ा पिलर होता है स्क्रिप्ट, और उससे बड़ा पिलर स्क्रिप्ट में ही होता है प्रेमाइस। अगर आप पढ़ें, एक किताब है लैजेस एग्री विच यू शुड गेट, इट्स कॉल्ड आर्ट ऑफ ड्रामेटिक राइटिंग, वेरी ओल्ड बुक, ऑलमोस्ट 70 years ओल्ड बुक। उसमें सिंपल बात है, पहला है प्रेमाइस। वो ये है कि आप अगर यहां से पैदल चल के जा रहे हैं, तो अगर आपको कोई पूछता है कहाँ जा रहे हैं, आप बोलते हो मैं ले जा रहा हूं या मैं फेस्टिवल देखने जा रहा हूं। आप चल रहे हो, एक आदमी पूछता है कहाँ जा रहे हो, आप कहते हैं यार पता नहीं कहाँ जा रहा हूँ, चल रहा हूँ, कहीं तो चला जाऊंगा। तो इमीडिएटली वो कहेगा पागल है ये, बोलेगा कि नहीं बोलेगा आप बताओ। लेकिन जो कहानी लिखते हैं वो लिखना शुरू करते हैं, उनको कहाँ जाना है पता नहीं, लिख रहा है भैया जाना कहाँ है, तेरी डेस्टिनेशन क्या है, तेरा प्रेमाइस क्या है, तू कहना क्या चाहता है, वो सबसे बड़ा पिलर है। जैसे पीके का भी बात हुआ, 3 Idiots का हुआ, परिंदा टॉक्ड अबाउट नॉन वायलेंस, मिशन कश्मीर टॉक्ड अबाउट व्हाट दे हैव डन टू कश्मीर एट दैट टाइम। तो प्रेमाइस बहुत सिंपल होता है कि आप कहना क्या चाह रहे हैं, ये सबसे बड़ा पिलर है। मिशन कश्मीर में 4 लाइनें हमने लिखी थी, आई होप आई रिमेंबर। इट सेज धुआं 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 ही धुआं, ये साजिशें दिशाओं की, ये साजिशें हवाओं की, लहू लुहान हो गई जमीन ये देवताओं की, न शंख की सदाएं न अब सदा अजान की, नजर मेरी जमीन को लगी है आसमान की, हैं दर बदर ये लोग क्यों जले हैं क्यों दिमाग में। और इसकी अगली लाइन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, कहता है ये किसने आग डाल दी है नर्म नर्म घास पर, लिखा हुआ है जिंदगी यहां हर एक लाश पर। और ये इंपॉर्टेंट प्रीमाइस है सर नेक्स्ट, ये तख्त की लड़ाई है, ये कुर्सियों की जंग है, और ये बेगुनाह खून भी सियासतों का रंग है, लकीर खींच दी गई दिलों के दरमियान धुआं धुआं। ये था मिशन कश्मीर, ये गाना है उसमें कि कैसे लकीरें खींच रही हैं, कैसे लोग हो रहे हैं, सियासतों का दर्द सब। तो वो कहानी थी, वो कहानी का प्रमाइस था, वो कहानी कही गई। 3 Idiots का प्रमाइस था चेज एक्सीलेंस, वो कहानी कही गई। लगे रमोना भाई का प्रमाइस था, गांधीगिरी का बहुत सिंपल प्रमाइस था उसका, वो बहुत सिंपल उसको बोलता है कि धोखा, उसको बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट लाइन है, आपको याद हो ना हो, वो कहता है कि वो तो उसकी किसी और को प्यार करती है। महात्मा गांधी बोलता है उसको, मुन्ना भाई को, वो कहता है मार डालूंगा, कौन है, क्या कहता है कोई प्रोफेसर है पढ़ाता है। तो झूठ बोलने का मतलब कुछ नहीं। और मैं आपके यहां आकर कुछ प्रोजेक्शन कर दूं जबरदस्त अपने बारे में, जो झूठ हो, जो मैं नहीं हूं, और आप बहुत इंप्रेस भी हो जाए, तालियां भी बहुत बजे, लेकिन जब मैं यहां से जाऊंगा मैं खुश नहीं हूंगा, क्योंकि मैंने आपको उल्लू बनाया है। अच्छा मैं सच बोल रहा हूं, आप बोले बकवास करके गया यार, लेकिन मैं खुश हूं, क्योंकि मैंने तो आपको अपनी सच्चाई बताई, और ये उम्मीद की कि मेरी सच्चाई से आप इंस्पायर हो गए। सो मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट इज द प्रीमाइस। आई एम कमिंग बैक टू द थीम। प्रीमाइस के बाद आता है सिंपल कैरेक्टर्स। कैरेक्टर्स कौन है जो आपकी प्रीमाइस को आगे लगाएंगे। उसके बाद आता है कॉन्फ्लिक्ट, उनका कॉन्फ्लिक्ट क्या है, फिर वो राइजिंग कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है कि जंपिंग कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है, फिर उसके आगे आता है क्लाइमेक्स रेजोल्यूशन। आप किताब पढ़िए, बाकी लोग बोर हो जाएंगे, लेकिन फिल्म मेकर्स को पढ़ना चाहिए, उसमें आपको समझ में आएगा कि मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पिलर एक है, आप कहना क्या चाह रहे हैं। मैं क्या कहना चाह रहा हूं, यहां पर एक ही बात कहना चाह रहा हूं कि अगर मेरी जिंदगी से मैं लद्दाख के और कश्मीर के स्टूडेंट्स को और फिल्म मेकर्स को इंस्पायर कर सकूं कि वो अपनी जिंदगी में थोड़ी और बेटर फिल्म बनाएं, तो मेरा यहां आना सफल है। ये मेरे आने का बनना है।
Sir, every film that you have done, I mean, I'm talking about Munna Bhai and 3 Idiots, PK. I've always felt whenever I watch, of course we watch through Amir Khan's himself and the character, or Sanju in Munna Bhai, you feel that when you, whatever you have written, feels like you are a step ahead of the audience or the people who go to watch your film. It's like, this is what I want to see. But I have not realized. But you've already written once. I watch it, then this is what I wanted. The thirst sort of, but we don't know what to drink. So how do you get that
a step ahead.
See, this is, by the way, this is the whole theory of Steve Jobs who did Apple. He said people don't know what they want. And they don't think they want Mac when iMac came, that this is really the philosophy of Apple. But it's very simple. See, you have ideas in your head that you want to convey and communicate. Now, if everybody has that idea, then it's a useless idea to communicate. Let us say that here you get a cup of tea, which I just drank in Padma's office. It's a nice tea. I say it's a nice tea, he says it's a nice tea, everybody says it's a nice tea. What's the great thing about that comment? Because everybody knows that. But if you know something about that tea that nobody else knows, how that tea is made, where does that tea come from, how is that tea nice? Why is everybody saying it's nice? So you go beyond what everybody knows, so you try and go one step ahead. That is why that is the only reason viewer will engage with your film. अगर उसको पता है जो तुम बोल रहे हो तो उसको पता ही है ना. हीरो आएगा, हीरोइन आएगी, गाना गाएंगे, उसको पता है, तुमको पता है, वो उससे गाना शुरू किया, वो भी देख रहा गाना. But if you go beyond what audience knows or audience expects, only then can you grab their attention. You have to go beyond. You have to have an idea that you want to convey to them very strongly. And it's an idea they don't have. Or even if they have it, it's very immature idea. You have to mature that idea in their heads. Sorry, this is the best answer I could give.
Very deep, sir. So, sir, परिंदा में जैसे सर आपने जो उसका treatment कैसे is my favorite. Encounter with Faces undoubtedly, but Parinda has been my second favorite most film of yours. आपने उसको एक ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट, जबकि वो कलर में था, ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट जैसा फील दिया सर. ऐसा लग रहा था कि जैसे कि गुरुदत्त का फिल्म कोई गैंगस्टर वाला फिल्म गुरुदत्त का है. What was your approach towards it?
See, again in Parinda, the idea was that the character of Jackie Shroff, who's Kishan and his brother, his life, color was drawn out of his life. See, his life had become colorless. So his state of mind was represented in the way you see the film. It's like in Ladakh now I see such blue sky and lovely moon and monasteries. My own life has become colorful because there are such beautiful colors. So the idea is that in cinema, you have to represent your shot taking, your colors, everything has to represent finally the state of mind of the character in the film. If I'm happy speaking to you people now, it shows in my body language, it shows I'm happy. You have to shoot the film understanding the state of mind of the character and then shoot accordingly. You know what I'm saying? अगर उसकी लाइफ में कलर नहीं है, जो आपका मेन हीरो है, उसकी लाइफ में कलर नहीं है तो पिक्चर में कलर नहीं होना चाहिए.
सर ये एकलव्य में आपने बैकग्राउंड स्कोर अक्सर वैसे तो फिल्म के बाद करते हैं सर, कंपोज करते हैं, बट इन एकलव्य यू कंपोज द म्यूजिक बिफोरहैंड and the sequences, all the action sequences were taking place based on the background score. So what was the idea, sir?
See, that again was just an idea. I had never seen it done before. But there's a whole camel sequence that you should see with Amitabh Bachchan and many other actors. So I actually conceived the whole thing with music. So I recorded the music and played back the music when the shots were being taken. So I actually cut to music. That was, when I did it, perhaps it was very not known and very early, but now many films do that. I mean, La La Land did that. Many films do that. They have a music track and then shoot the music track. Because then you don't, then it's, let's say आपने film बनाना है, 10 minute का film है, and you have a track, you film into the track, then you won't make it 20 minutes, then it'll be 10 minutes.
और सर कहा जाता है कि आप एडिटर को अपने फिल्म सेट पे ले जाते हैं. What is the idea behind it?
See, because the editor will cut the film. No, he's the one who's after the writer. The editor. Also, when you're making a movie and you cut it, you know. See, now I was talking to you. I saw some kids going out, and I realized that cinema talk is bored then. You know, if I was an editor, I would cut to them. Cut here. I just saw them from the edge of my life. But they're bored. Now, why are they bored? Because we're talking cinema. But is a filmmaker sitting there bored? No, he's not. So if you show me a close-up of a filmmaker, he's engrossed. But there's a kid who thought maybe ये कोई बॉम्बे से आया बॉलीवुड कुछ करेगा नाच गाना हुआ नहीं वो चला गया. So the editor will cut that correctly for you when you're making the movie. हम यहाँ देखेंगे वो shots भी editor use करेगा. By the way, they're back to the place.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, I think like 388 is everybody who are here. I think 90% have seen the movie 388. Why you chosen the Ladakh, sir, for that last shot?
Because Ladakh for me carried a certain innocence. When I came here as a kid, I've come here many times. I always thought of this place as, because it's cut off from the other rest of the world, at least that time it was, that there was a certain innocence about Ladakh. And there was a certain innocence about the character Rancho. Rancho could not come from New York. He has to come from Ladakh or a place like Bhutan, maybe. You know, the kind of thinking we have, I mean, a lot of people, if you ask anybody in the film industry what they think of me, they will say he's a fool. And I understand that. I am a fool. Because I'm not following the usual ladders to success. So I'm foolish. How can you not make third Munnabai? You'll make 1,000 crores. I don't have a good script. Are you stupid? Make a stupid film. You'll still make 1,000 crores. But I can't make a stupid film. Oh, that's what makes you stupid. So, why have I not made third Munnabai? I don't. You give me a script for third Munnabai. Anybody sitting here writes a script for third Munnabai, I'll be very happy. I'll make that film. You'll get good money.
Yeah, audience.
Can I have a cup of tea? Padma? I'm sure I can.
Audience सामने सुकर जीवा योजना questions योजना किया जा रही है.
Hello, sir. Hi. Sir, my name is Raja Shubir. I have a very deep connection with you. I am from Kashmir and I went to the film school because you are the reason I went to film school. I went to SRFTI and you were a senior of my dad, 1 year senior in SP College.
Who was your dad?
You might not be knowing him. His name is Ghulam Muhammad Khan. So he says that you were in the same college.
Yeah, I was in SP College, that's right.
Yes, right. He was there also. So you are my inspiration.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask how many drafts you generally write for a film. The final draft. How many drafts?
See, you can't. What is excellence? How do you chase excellence? You don't become excellent. You can't be excellent. None of us are born geniuses. You have to chase it. You have to strive for it. And how do you strive for it? By really redrafting, writing again, till you're completely set. Let me tell you a story I told when I got into the Film Institute. I don't know whether it's in the book. But I used to write short stories. So Rishikesh Mukherjee the उस time he was when I was being interviewed. And I was from Hindi medium from Kashmir. I was not qualified like the other guys. So they said, you write? I said, yes, I write. So I said, how many published? I said, one story published. After that I said, I've written many. Then why not published? I said, I tear them and throw them away. So Rishikesh Mukherjee ne पूछा कि फाड़ देते हैं? मैंने हाँ. But why? So I said, my father told me a story that the greatest short story writer in the Mahabharata, in the Vedanta, Manu, I think his name was, वो कहानी लिखता था, उसका गुरु पढ़ता था और उसको कहता फाड़ देता था. तो ऐसा लिखा गया है कि 12 साल तक वो होता रहा। तो एक दिन जब उसने कहानी लिखी और गुरु को दी और वो फाड़ने लगा, तो मनु दो उसने जो पैर कहता गुरुदेव ये नहीं। तो गुरुदेव ने कहा कि तू मेरे से आगे निकल गया, और एवरी टाइम आई वाज टेलिंग योर स्टोरीज आई वाज डाइंग इनसाइड, थैंक यू फॉर स्टॉपिंग मी। So you have to keep writing that draft till you reach a stage where you feel that this is your best. You can't go beyond. इतना भी डाउट है तो करते रहो, लगे रहो मुन्ना भाई।
So one question which is related to this. Suppose I have an idea and I want to make a film of it. So when is the time that I should stop writing? I would say, okay, no, this won't work. Or should I keep on working on this?
See, if you believe in what you're saying in the film, that's the most important thing. How strongly do you feel you need to say that thing? It's like I felt very strongly about Shikara. I spent almost 40-50 crores making that film with newcomers. I knew I would lose money. But I wanted to say that. I wanted to say Todo Nahi Jodo. It was very important to me to convey that message to people of India. So I did it. The point is, you have to feel very strongly about what is it that you want to say. You're unique. You're from Kashmir, and Kashmir has its own stories. You're trained in the Satyajit Ray Film Festival. So you're highly qualified, but you have to have a story to tell. बोलना क्या है? Once you know कि मुझे यार ये बात कहनी है, then you work on your script and keep working on that script till you're 100% satisfied. Till literally you can't tear it away.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
नमस्कार सर, मेरा नाम ताशी दावा है। मैं एक लोकल फिल्म मेकर हूँ और सबसे आज बहुत खुशी हुई कि आपके हाथों मुझे आज आपका बुक मिला सर। सर आपने डीएवी स्कूल से पढ़ाई की है और मैंने भी 6 तक डीएवी स्कूल सिग्नल से पढ़ाई की सर।
अमीरा कदर के जवाहर
मैंने जवाहर नगर जी सर,
मगरमल बाग मैं भी उधर ही था। मगर
वहीं पे थे सर, वहाँ को एजुकेशन था 6 तक। जी सर,
मेरे टाइम में नहीं था।
नहीं था, अच्छा सर। जी सर, सर अपने ही देश में विस्थापित होना ये सच में एक बहुत एक दुखद घटना है किसी के लिए भी, और आपने उसे बहुत ही अच्छी तरह से शिकारा में आपने दिखाया सर। लेकिन मैं जानना चाहता हूं सर कि आपके निजी जीवन पे विस्थापित होना आपके काम पे किस तरह का प्रभाव पड़ा सर?
आपने देखी है शिकारा?
जी हाँ।
देखिए क्या होता है कि जिंदगी में बहुत सेटबैक्स आते हैं, हर सेट पे आते हैं। हम लोग रेफ्यूजी हो गए, हमारी माँ वहां हो गई। 2 महीने पहले मेरा भाई कोविड से मर गया। मेरे बहुत क्लोज था, मेरे से 2 साल बड़ा था, एकदम फिट था। तो ऐसी प्रॉब्लम्स लाइफ में झटके से आती है और आती रहेंगी। ऐसा नहीं आप सोचेंगे नहीं आएंगी, आएंगी, जरूर आएंगी, आती रहेंगी। What you have to understand that life, you have to constantly strive to be happy. You can't, it's not easy. You know, there's a saying, it says, even if it's a broken world, it's really some very sad things are happening. But within that world, universe is unfolding as it should. And you have to understand that you have to constantly strive to be happy. हर चीज के 2 पहलू होते हैं। I'm 69 now, my brother was 71. So when somebody said to me, I said, I'm celebrating 70 years of life with a great guy. That's one way of looking at it. कि 70 साल के लिए एक कमाल का आदमी मेरी लाइफ में आया, तो उसके लिए मैं ग्रेटफुल हूँ। दूसरा आप ये सोचते हैं यार 5 साल और मिल जाते, 10 साल और मिल जाते, ऐसा क्या हुआ यार? मरना तो है ही है, 5 नहीं मरेगा, 10 में 15 में मर जाए। तो नाउ दिस इज हाउ यू लुक एट लाइफ। Are you grateful for 70 years? Are you mourning 5 years of whatever years that you never got? So I always look at life like that. अगर मैं रेफ्यूजी हुआ, मेरी माँ आई, तो मैं हंसा माँ को। मैंने बोला, माँ देख, बहुत अच्छा हुआ आतंकवादी आ गए तो तू मेरे साथ बॉम्बे में रह रही है, नहीं तो तू आती नहीं। And she told me something that, you know, in Punjabi to the बेवकूफ है, बिल्कुल ही पागल है तू। But that's a fact, you have to. There will be good things and bad things, and you have to constantly strive for excellence and strive for happiness.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening, sir. My name is Morup and I'm a local filmmaker. So I'm basically more into wildlife documentary films. So my question is that I have majorly met with two different kind of people. That one believes more in, like, if you win an award or create recognition from somewhere, then that's all you need. You're done. So that's a success. And on the other hand, there are some people that they believe or they tell me that telling story, what your story is like really important. If your story is hard to maximum audience, then that is the job and that's you're done. So nothing to do with awards or anything. So would you please share your thoughts about it?
See, to me, awards and recognition outside means very little. It's very, very little. Because the question is, who's giving you that award? For what they're giving you that award? So I'm not a great guy. I don't go for my own awards. I don't go to many functions. Second thing is that people tell you, let me tell you one simple thing. There is only one criterion to judge your film. That is when you make a movie, let's say you make a wildlife documentary, put your film on a side and see some of the best wildlife documentaries made in the world. You know, like what David Attenborough has done for Planet Earth or whatever. See some of the best. And then see your film and see how good it is compared to the best. And if you are as good as those guys, that's the most important thing. What do you think of your work? To me is the most important thing. Like I'm telling you, hardly I'm surprised when I see Chikara here. Very few people. Because the hackers brought from 9.1, the ranking down to 1. I think it's now gone to 4 or 5. So don't worry about what others say. What you think is most important. So awards are of no consequence. They mean nothing. Thank you.
Hello. Good, sir. हेलो यहाँ से सर
नहीं
ऑडिशन करके आप प्रोसीजर है
आप बिल्कुल ऑडिशन करके BCP हमारा .com जो है हमारे साइट पे है उधर आप भेज दीजिए और ऑल्सो आप हमारी इंदु शर्मा करके कास्टिंग डायरेक्टर हैं उनके काफी कास्टिंग डायरेक्टर हैं यू कैन इजीली सेंड इट आउट
ओके थैंक यू सर
आज के ज़माने में तो बहुत इजी हो गया है हमारे टाइम में तो कहाँ जाना पड़ता था बम्बई अब तो कुछ भी अच्छा करके आप डाल देंगे यूट्यूब में तो फैल जाती है बात
हेलो जुले सर
हेलो यस ओह देयर यस आई सी
माय सेल्फ जिग्नेट तो मेरा क्वेश्चन सबसे पहले हिमालयन फिल्म फेस्टिवल को थैंक यू इट मेक अ प्लेटफॉर्म बॉलीवुड फिल्म मेकर्स एंड जितने भी लद्दाख में फिल्म मेकर्स हैं उनको डायरेक्टर जितने भी एक्सपर्ट है उन लोगों के साथ बातचीत एंड डिस्कस करने का प्लेटफॉर्म देने के लिए तो मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि सर मैंने भी कुछ पिछले साल एक शॉर्ट फिल्म बनाया था तो उस समय मुझे वो फिल्म मेरा फर्स्ट शॉर्ट फिल्म था तो उस समय मुझे ये रियलाइज हुआ कि एक फिल्म बनाना और उसका स्टोरी राइट करना कैसे होता है तो मुझे 4 दिन में एक शॉर्ट फिल्म कंप्लीट करना था तो जब मैंने उस स्टोरी को एक कंप्लीट स्ट्रक्चर देना शुरू किया तो पूरा एक रात मुझे नींद नहीं आया कि स्टोरी कैसा होगा पूरा ऐसे सोचते बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर करते करते मतलब नींद नहीं आया कि स्टोरी में पूरा घुस गया तो आपके साथ ऐसा कुछ होता है कि आप एक स्टोरी राइट कर रहे हैं तो आपको नींद नहीं आता है या आप उस स्टोरी को कैसे मैनेज करके उस स्टोरी को कंप्लीट करते हैं
बिल्कुल नींद नहीं आता है और क्या होता है कभी कभी 2 बजे रात को उठता है आदमी और वो कहता है यार ये ऐसा होना चाहिए तो मैं पेंसिल और पेपर रखता हूँ बेड पे, तो जो आइडिया था उसको मैं लिख देता हूँ, तो रात को उठ जाता हूँ, लिख देता हूँ, फिर सुबह उठ के कई बार कुछ आइडिया तो बकवास लगते हैं, ये कैसा बेवकूफ चीज होता है, कभी कभी अच्छा भी होता है, तो वो नींद ना आना बिल्कुल स्वाभाविक है, मतलब वो तो होता ही है। That tells you that you are passionate about what you're doing. तो चिंता मत कीजिए, दिन में सो जाइए।
Thank you, sir.
I have. Yeah. Chopra ji, having heard your personal life, the journey from nowhere to what you are today into an incomparably high position in the industry, in the entertainment industry, I feel it deserves to be made into a film by itself. And this will be one of the best content to be made a film. This is really appreciable and I congratulate you. Now, my question is, I have heard all these discussions which have been primarily focusing on the creative aspect of filmmaking. Mine may be slightly different because I'm basically or primarily a producer. I have not directed a movie, but I have produced movies which won many awards and in good numbers. I made it. I would like to know, this is a personal again, you having made very successful, outstanding successful movie as a director, what made you give your film direction to others and be a producer? Is there anything that is relevant to it, or it's just friendship, or it's business related?
No, see, it began with friendship. I will only make film with friends and like-minded people. I'll never make a film with a guy I don't like, even if it means I'll make 1,000 crores. To me, my happiness, my peace of mind, my joy in life is most important. So it began with friendship, but also there are stories that others can tell better than you. I genuinely believe that Munna Bhai Raju Irani can tell that story much better than me. Abhijat Joshi is making a film for me. I'm 100% telling you that Abhijat will make that film much better than me. Pradeep Sarkar made Parinita. He was a Bengali. He made that much better than I could have ever made Parinita. Rajesh Pamboskar made Ferrari. So many films. Shelley made a film about lesbians. Now I can't make a film about lesbians. Ek ladki ko dekha tha aisa laga. She's a woman. She made it. So the point is that it's not. I may be good at one thing, but I can't be good at everything. I mean, the kind of film this gentleman has made, I haven't seen it. Yeah. I can't make it. It's his life. I can't do it.
But you are really going to make films when it comes to your liking and passion, right? Direct my point.
Yeah, of course. I'll only direct if I feel that this is the movie like Shikara, only I could direct. Raju Irani can't direct, Abhijat can't direct, nobody can direct.
Secondly, this session itself, info entertainment, I personally believe from my experience in the films, film is a very powerful media. The impact of films in the society and youngsters in particular, in educating them, in making them aware of a lot of things which otherwise does not impact socially or through books. So in this media, when you make films, primarily the film has to be made or focused in such a way that it should entertain people by and large. A film, however good it be, if it cannot attract mass appeal, will the purpose of this influencing the society, educating them, the entertainment element has to be something like a sugar-coated thing which has to take it.
I just told you that very few people have seen Shikara. I'm sure you have not seen it. And let me tell you, it's one of my best films.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
No, broadly I have seen there are two types of films happening. Academically brilliant films which will be loved by a section of the society in India or world over. There is no disrespect for it. But especially in a country like India with so much population, mass appeal is what, of course it is a business angle, but business angle apart, communicating to them
Let me tell you frankly, I don't give a damn about business. If I gave a damn about business, there would be 10 Munawais by now.
Right. But
I would be a very rich man. I would come in my own plane rather than going in whatever. So 5 or 6 o'clock tomorrow morning I have a flight. I hate it. But I have to take it because I haven't made 10 Munawais. But I prefer that 6 o'clock flight than making stupid films.
One more question. In today's scenario, in the last few years, we have seen the failure of Indian films in the commercial sector has been 80% plus. So, if the failure of such large number of films with such huge or popular artists, heroes, superstar and superstar, everything, why and where things is going?
See, you're asking the wrong man this question. I don't see those films, I don't care if they are succeeding or not. I only care about the stories I tell and the good stories that other people tell. I don't give a damn about business, I really don't. And I don't even know factually how many have flopped, how many have succeeded. It's not my business. My business is my movies. I concentrate on that.
But to the new generation, I've seen very talented guys coming into the industry. You have to give them a tip how film should be made appealing and interesting. This is my request.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, sir. Here. Hello, sir. Thank you for being here. I'm here. You just inspired us to make films we are passionate about. Just to make films to get our point across, right? And let's suppose we do. Now my question is, how do we know what we are doing is worthwhile and not a foolhardy attempt? What is your yardstick on which you judge yourself? Thank you.
That's a good question. First of all, let me tell you that whether it's worth it, whether it's worth the struggle, it all has to come from you. Others cannot judge for you whether it's worth it or not. You have to say, is this something I really want to tell? I again refer to Shikara. I really wanted to sell Todo Nendoro. I wanted to bring the communities together. Was it wise to spend 50 crores on that film? No, it was stupid. It was a dumb business decision. Why did I make it? Because it brought me joy and happiness and peace that no money can ever buy. So you have to ask yourself, when you write, you have to say, the voice has to come from within you, that this I have to do. Nobody else can tell you that.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
I would like to know your opinion. Can you recall a time in your life, the hardest part of your filmmaking experience, upon a time where you thought you should give up, but you did not?
Actually, it didn't. I had tough times, but to give up filmmaking, it would be for me like to give up breathing. To give up living. I don't think I ever reached a stage where I said, you can't give up. Give up is for losers. We are not losers. None of us are losers. We don't give up. Why should we give up? We'll fight. We'll fight harder. Give up is not a word in our dictionary. It shouldn't be, right? Why should we give up? He just gave me a film he made many years back, 1.5 hour long. He said, see, 5-10 minutes. He's not giving up. He's going to subtitle that film and give it to me. Why give up? No, never give up. Some people give up. Okay, last question.
Over here. My name is Muhammad Abbas Noga.
We'll take 2 more questions, 3 more, right?
Okay. Last 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Please, I hope some interesting questions should come.
Yeah.
So really think before you ask.
Sir, I'm a local filmmaker. एंड सबसे पहले तो मैं आपका इस लद्दाख के हसीन वादियों में आपका एक बार फिर दिल के गहराइयों से शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहता हूँ सर. मेरे सवाल दो है। एक तो सबसे पहले आपने हमारे जो लोकल फिल्म्स है वो कितने देखे हैं आज तक, या अपने आपको मौका मिला या नहीं मिला होगा, और दूसरा उसके बारे में आप क्या कहेंगे। और मेरा दूसरा सवाल है सर कि मैं एक स्पोर्ट्समैन हूँ नेशनल लेवल का, आइस हॉकी, जो मैंने लद्दाख के लिए, इंडिया के लिए इनफैक्ट एक टीम बना के दिया है, और आइस स्पीड स्केटिंग का भी मैं नेशनल कोच हूँ। अभी मैंने एक फिल्म बनाया है जो आइस हॉकी के ऊपर बेस्ड है, इट्स कॉल्ड वन मोर। जो मुझे फिल्म में मेरा इंटरेस्ट इसलिए रहा कि मेरा दो पैशन है सर, एक स्पोर्ट्स और फिल्म। फिल्म में मेरा इसलिए पैशन था क्योंकि लद्दाख का वन एंड ओनली पिक्चर हॉल जो है वो मेरे घर में है, घर के सामने है सर, नेबरिंग में। तो मैं स्कूल से भाग के सीधा फिल्म देखने जाते थे, क्लास बंक करके फिल्म देखने जाते थे, और मैं घर में आके अपने बेडरूम में भी बैठूं तो मुझे फिल्म का स्टोरी सुनाई देता था। तो मेरे फादर जी का भी यही था, जब 1950-60 की बात कर रहा हूँ सर, कि वो आर्मी में थे, और वो जो फिल्म हॉल है, थिएटर है लद्दाख का, डिलाइट थिएटर, उसका ऑनर और मेरा फादर जो है वो बेस्ट फ्रेंड थे बचपन से। तो वो दोनों को आर्मी में थे, तो वो आर्मी के फिल्म देखते थे, तो वहां से इंस्पायर होते उन्होंने क्या किया, उनको ये लगा कि ये फिल्में सारे कश्मीर में बनते हैं, तो ये दोनों घर से भाग के पैदल यहाँ से कश्मीर गए, और गुफाओं में रह के जो सत्तू खा के पानी पी के वैसे करके कश्मीर पहुंचे। लेकिन उनको पता चला बाद में यहाँ नहीं बनता, बॉम्बे में बनते। फिर वहां से लोग वापस आ गए। तो उसमें मेरा भी थोड़ा शौक था, तो मैंने 1996 में FTI मंडी हाउस से एक डिप्लोमा फिल्म कोर्स करा। फिर उसके बाद फिल्मों में जुड़ा, यहाँ पे आते हैं जैसे इंटरनेशनल फिल्म डायरेक्टर्स, समसारा, वैली ऑफ फ्लावर्स, उसमें हमने एज एन असिस्टेंट काम करा सर, थोड़ा बहुत हैंड ऑन वो एक्सपीरियंस लेने के लिए। फिर उसके बाद एक मौका मिला मुझे हॉलीवुड जाने के लिए, और वहाँ पे भी मैंने 5 साल इसी हॉलीवुड में है, तो फिल्म का कीड़ा था, तो हर जगह ठोकरें खाए, स्ट्रगल करा, प्रोडक्शन हाउसेस गए सारे हर जगह पे। तो बाद में वहाँ पे मैं फाइनली इंडियन फिल्म फेस्टिवल, जो एक मशहूर लॉस एंजलिस में होता है, वहाँ पे एक डायरेक्टर मिला जिन्होंने फ्रोजन फिल्म करी, उसके साथ फिर मैंने एक वन मोर फिल्म, वहीं पे हमने स्क्रिप्ट मेरे पास था तो उनको दे दिया। वो आइस हॉकी फिल्म पहला इंडिया का है सर, स्पोर्ट्स ड्रामा, तो उसका हमने वो करा। तो मेरा ये सवाल है सर कि दूसरा कि मुझे वहाँ पे भी थोड़ा बहुत सारे लोग ये पूछते थे कि हॉलीवुड में कि इंडियन फिल्म डायरेक्टर्स जो है वो हॉलीवुड को रख के फिल्म क्यों नहीं बना सकते। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
See, you probably don't know that I made a film in Hollywood. I lived there for 4 years. I made Broken Horses in America. But I actually wanted to come back to India, and I didn't make such good film, frankly. It's not one of my best films. So, हम कुछ भी कर सकते हैं। आप आइस हॉकी करते हैं, हम ये करते हैं। हमारे अंदर अगर वो हो जुनून करने का, तो हम कुछ भी, जब मैंने हॉलीवुड में फिल्म बनाया तो मैं तो अपने हिसाब से गाली दे के फिल्म बनाता था, वही वैसे बनाया वो। आई डोंट थिंक एनीथिंग, यू डोंट हैव टू थिंक कि हम क्यों नहीं ऐसा कर सकते। आप कर सकते हैं। आप अगर आइस हॉकी के ये किया तो आपको आइस हॉकी की फिल्म बनाना चाहिए, जो समथिंग दैट यू नो पीपल विल अप्रिशिएट दैट।
सर एक हमारी तरफ से क्वेश्चन है सर। Okay, sir, then I can go. So, this book, the moment I started reading it, and it was like a page turner, very informative, not just for a filmmaker, बहुत ही प्यार से लिखा गया सर. And I almost read like 25 pages at one go. I wish I had more time so that I could finish this book and have a more in-depth conversation with you. लेकिन सर इसमें एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग मुझे खास लगा जब आपको वीर जी ने फ़ोन किया सर, तो वीर जी बहुत उन्होंने एक्साइटमेंट था उनकी आवाज़ में, और उन्होंने बोला आपको कि मैंने 100 डॉल्फिन देखे हैं करके। एंड एट दैट वेरी मोमेंट आपको लगा कि ये जो मोमेंट है दैट यू वांटेड टू शेयर विथ यू, एंड यू कॉल्ड इट द डॉल्फिन मोमेंट। तो खासकर आपका जो कोर टीम है या शायद वो लोग जानते हैं कि एक डॉल्फिन मोमेंट है क्या करके। सर आपकी जिंदगी में ऐसे डॉल्फिन मोमेंट्स तो बहुत होंगे, बिकॉज यू लीड सच अ ब्यूटीफुल इंटरेस्टिंग लाइफ, लेकिन खास तौर से कोई 3 डॉल्फिन मोमेंट्स आप बता सकते हैं? वुड यू लाइक टू शेयर विद अस?
it's very difficult. I mean, it's like today I was in my Ladakh. I was walking with Anu, and the sky was so beautiful, and it was so beautiful that I think it became a dolphin moment. I mean, today I had a dolphin moment. It was wonderful. Then we went to eat, and we said, let's not go to the restaurant. So we ate by the little pond. That itself became a dolphin moment. So I have so many of those that it's very difficult to say which are the top three. It's just in life, happiness you can't measure by this was 2%, this is 5%. Happiness is happiness. वो कहता है ना प्यार को प्यार ही रहने दो कोई नाम ना दो बहुत मुश्किल है उसको डिफाइन करना but I had a dolphin moment today in Ladakh.
जी सर आप और हमने सुना कि आप गालिब के शहर के बहुत शौकीन हैं और सर इस मौके पे कोई शायर आपको याद आता है सर
खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से खुद पूछे बता तेरी रजा क्या.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a legendary filmmaker, Vidhu Vinod Chopra, sir. Please give a big hand of